How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Crypto Clout. My name is Faze Crypto, and today we actually have a very interesting video. We're going to be talking about DigiByte, the DigiByte awareness team. Really central conversation that's happening in cryptocurrency is the conversation regarding around centralization in the storage of data. Now, later on in this video, we're going to be watching some footage from a live stream that I actually did with another YouTuber called CryptoCurrently, and in that live stream we actually had a really interesting conversation where we were talking about the fact that DigiByte has been really marketing themselves in the direction and essentially developing their technology in a way that's going to be big as far as security. And then when we see all these problems with the management of data, the Facebook hack and all these different things happening, there really is a central demand growing in the public consciousness for security when it comes to these different things. And I think DigiByte, when it comes to speed, when it comes to performance, and a lot of these different things, DigiByte's very much a key innovator in the space of cryptocurrency. And I think that right now, as the cryptocurrency community develops and matures, it's interesting to see those of us who are essentially paying attention to DigiByte from a data perspective, and those of us who are fans of DigiByte, it's interesting to see how these different things are happening, involving basically DigiByte getting copied by all these different Bitcoin, and really how name and branding is overshadowing the really performances of some of these really better bare bones technologies. So this is why the DigiByte awareness team is so important, and why using social media and leveraging the possibilities that are made available through these different things. So realistically, I just like to leave the audience with a sentiment that you have the power to really shape where technology is going to be going in the future, and you could vote with your dollar on that token. So definitely DigiByte's an interesting cryptocurrency to be paying attention to, and DigiByte's certainly a fan favorite among the cryptocurrency space. When we look at the fact of the matter is, there's people criticize Ripple for the various issues of their history and their connections with all too shady characters that seem to popping up whenever there's stuff that's happening with the establishment, and sort of these movements on a larger scale. And when you talk about people copying DigiByte, it's almost sort of that same age-old vestige that we've seen happen whenever there's a new person on the block who provides that groundbreaking technology. I mean, you look at what was it, the guy who invented the light bulb, ripping off Nikola Tesla, and sort of it's almost as if the geniuses who provide us with these groundbreaking discoveries never actually are the ones who get to take it to the bank. It's sort of a totally different animal in that sense.
So like in that article, basically touching on the point you just said, is that the most advanced technology isn't always the winner. It's really the projects with the best marketing. So that's why DigiByte really needs to start pushing for aggressive marketing strategies to get their projects out there so that people are aware of them, or otherwise projects like Bitcoin Cash are just going to continue to rip off their ideas. And like you said with the light bulb thing, I actually was thinking the same thing. Is the most advanced technology as far as like electricity would probably be the Tesla coil, but you don't see very many of those around because obviously they did not win, even though they were the most advanced.
That's a good point, and especially on top of that, it's also, I mean, it's important for us to be making these movements forward, but when we look into how DigiByte's been progressing so far, I think that the decentralized components are going to outweigh in a perfect world, the best production would be the one that's successful. But yeah, brand recognition. I mean, when we talk about the fact that everybody and their grandmother's heard of Bitcoin, the fact of the matter is, you try to introduce somebody to the concept of cryptocurrency, you ultimately have to pass through the gatekeeper, which is Bitcoin, the whole media firestorm that, essentially it's all anybody wants to talk about as far as the normies are concerned. And then there's people who are actually paying attention to the data in all these different components, and I'd say that's why we see, I mean, DigiByte, I'm not going to rule it out because certainly there's always going to be a place for the one who's, you know what I mean, people remember, people who use it. That's why it's important right now for the DigiByte awareness team. That's really the whole point, I'd say. So people who are watching this and who are, you know, capable of making that decision and voting with your dollar, we don't want to put that power in the control of these essentially the irresponsible components of this space. I mean, it's going to happen from time to time, but you know, it's definitely interesting to see how this is going to play itself out. Yeah, I mean, what would you want to add on that note?
Oh, absolutely. I think DigiByte being like the, I guess you could say, founder of the DigiID technology, I don't think it's going to hurt it in the long run. I'm just seeing like short run here. They really just need to get the marketing out there. But we are seeing adoption with the technology. I know Anthem, which is like a European digital identity company, has implemented the ID, and that's really just going to be the start of the implementation of it. And I'm hoping that after the Facebook hack, I'm not saying Facebook would implement it, but it's time to start looking in that direction for a decentralized login system that doesn't require you to use usernames and passwords. And the fact that DigiByte already has the working product, potentially see it gain adoption in the social media realm. And then if really it would just take one major partnership, like one bank or one social media platform to implement it before it would.
People putting their fingerprint on their phone and, you know, using that. And essentially I was looking into all this interesting things because since we're talking about people getting hacked, it's interesting that now even with there's this thing, I mean, I don't want to get too off topic, but you know how people log into their phone using their face? It's actually a phenomenon now because it's really being leveraged against people, because it's like now the computers are so sophisticated that they can actually replicate your face the same way that they're learning to replicate thumbnails. And this sort of technology is only going to become more advanced. So when they want to put a fingerprint of somebody somewhere on the internet on some sort of file or something in Siberia, and then sort of work within the technical aspects of it and you know, sort of cover up their trail, when people try to uncover what happened, it essentially it boils down to a whole mess for a lot of people, because trying to figure out cryptocurrency needs to really change a lot of fundamental things in order to overcome a lot of the old paradigm problems with I mean, that's one of the problems with maintaining the internet the way that it is. We grew up with the internet in a certain way, but as it becomes more advanced, it's definitely going to be necessary to implement a lot of things that start up a lot of difficult conversations. But I guess it's also an important time to be maintaining a lot of the things that we really love about the internet, and making sure that these people who are putting the control of these communication powerhouses like Google and Facebook and all these different social media platforms, which we've essentially delegated the power of communication over to, it's at this point that it's really essential for people to have that sort of data analytical perspective when it comes to these things. And I think that I mean, it's important to have cryptocurrencies that have their heart in the right place, because once these things get up and running in AI and all these different things, I mean, you could look at Elon Musk if you
Saying there in the beginning about the facial recognition and the thumbprints being stored to kind of remember you, it would be kind of scary, I guess, if all that information were stored on a central server like we saw with Facebook, because if it gets hacked, then they have access to everybody's thumbprint or facial recognition. But I mean, really, what they need is decentralization. If it's spread across hundreds of thousands of different servers like DigiByte is, then it would make it more difficult to access people's thumbprints or facial recognition signatures. And that's really what we need in the future, is truly decentralized storage of data. And I think DigiByte stands a chance to gain mass adoption in that area.
Yeah, all these things are right next door to each other. Now, of course, remember, I'm not your dad. This video is for educational, purposes only, for entertainment. And of course, make sure that you guys tune in for the next live stream. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this content. Make sure that you go and subscribe to CryptoCurrently. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this content. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.